Hello guys, it's useful here, and I wanted to get into. Oh, that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to get into Ryu-ge. So, as of today, as of time of recording, the reveal for the crossover breakers reveal has just concluded as of a day ago, and come to find out, the deck I've been playing for like 2 months now, and the only ultra is our big boy Arceus right here. So I wanted to get over why the deck I think is better than other people think it is. People been talking about it, how it's bad, it's buns, this, that, and the other, like it's trash. Don't waste your time. Honestly, let's be completely honest. To play devil's advocate here, in a lot of environments you're going to be in, if you're trying to play this fringe deck and you don't really have the right mind behind it and the right deck building skills behind it, you're going to be going against people with better cards, and I mean better cards, I mean like better decks and better players. Unless you're one of those locals where everybody plays tenpai because they're all bad at the game, so they're trying to play a deck that allows them to close things out and kind of plays for itself. You're not really gonna get a lot of practice with this deck. Let's go over the deck. Let's go over what the cards do, and I'll talk about why these other cards are here. It'll let me. I'll do a sort. There we go. Sort it and show like this. Why does it do this? You go like this. Put it right here. Put one right there, and they're all in order. Perfect. Right? They're still in order. No, they're not in order. What did I do? There we go. All right, let's talk about what the cards do. So let's first break down what the theme of the deck is. So normally the cards themselves, so what you want, they're kind of like a Weather Painter S deck where they get the abilities from the continuous spells, and they don't really do much on their own. Now, this is our boss monster, the guy that's on the cover, and let's talk about it. So there's three components to the spell. Oh, got the wrong order. There are three components to those. There are three. Blah. They're playing with me. There we go. There are three components to the main deck monsters and the spells, the continuous spells. So the main deck monsters, their three components consist of how to their special summoning, their effect to special summon themselves, their effect to search their corresponding continuous spell, and then what they do, they'll go their own unique ability that works with their continuous spell. Now the continuous spells consist of the first effect being that you only can control one of them, as in like one of each more so. What they call the effect that they give to other monsters, and their protection effects, or more like their second passive. Now you can only control one of each of these. That's their gimmick. And then, but this one lets you Sea Spires, for example. It gives its effect to level 10 or higher Sea Serpents and to your Ryu-ge Pendulums. But all of these work with the Ryu-ge Pendulum, but they also give their effect to their corresponding monster type. So for the green one, it's Worms who are level 10 and higher. Protos, I don't see Protos, but yes, Protos can use the effect for this. Dinosaurs, this one right here gives this effect to dinosaurs at a level 10 or higher, again, as well as the Ryu-ge boss monster, Pendulum monsters. And which means UCT, which is level 10, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, which is a level 10 or higher dinosaur. And then this one, Compulse, this one right here gives this effect to level 10 or higher Sea Serpents. Let's get this out of the way. There are no level 10 or higher Sea Serpents that'll work in this deck. You have the Punk, Jam Drive, the Synchro, that's like 11. You have Water Dragon, which is like the one I'm talking about, the OGGX one that takes H2O bond and stuff like that. There is a level 10 Sea Serpent coming out. I'll go over that in a second. But other than that, there's nothing else that'll use this effect. Now, let's talk about it. So the way this one right here, the way it searches, it Sea Spires, you have to discard it. Now, the way you would special summon this, its own way would be, they're not locked into specials being special summoned their own way, but this is just to help you out if you somehow meet the conditions and you can't summon it any other way. If two or more cards have been sent to the graveyard this turn, doesn't matter whose graveyard, along as they've been sent to the graveyard, and it has to be from deck or hand. So, say for example, you would call it Dark World Dealings, draw a card, discard a card, and then you Foolish Burial a card next, right? Then that's two cards that got sent to the graveyard. This turn, one from hand, one from deck. You can slash draw, send two from hand, right? You will still allow you to summon this. Now you can summon this. It's a spell speed 1 ignition effect. The third effect is Trickstar Reincarnation. You can place its own continuous spell, which has to be Sea Spires, put at the bottom of the deck, and your opponent banishes their entire hand and draws that same amount of cards. Now you have our worm here. Now again, they're all level 10s, including the Pendulum. The worm, the way you search its own its own continuous spell is by banishing it from your hand. To summon it now is if a monster is banished. It's a trigger effect. So if a monster is banished while this card is already banished face up, and there are 2 other cards banished face up that are not himself. So hypothetically, say for example, your opponent called by something, right? Your opponent hit, say you called by your Ash, right? And this is already face up. Cool. If there was already if there is one other card already banished face up, quick effect on resolution, change special summon this. Pretty cool. Now his own effect, if you place its worm winds to the bottom of the deck, what it does is it adds any Ryu-ge card from your hand deck, from your graveyard, banishment, or deck. This guy right here, I think he's the easiest one to use. If two or more cards have been destroyed this turn, quick effect, not a trigger, just a quick effect. So say for example you Ryu-ge somebody's board, right? The whole thing is that later on time you can go into battle phase and then battle phase effect, quick effect, summon him out from your hand. His way to search for his continuous spells by shuffling him back into the deck. The third effect is put his own field spell at the bottom of the deck. Destroy a target and destroy that up to that many cards on the field, up to amount of different monster types you control. So yeah, if it's just him, you only get one. If it's anything else, doesn't matter what it is, it can be a Rebo. That's 2 types. Yeah, cool. Now let's talk about what their continuous spells do. This one is a compulse, but only during your opponent's turn, and it gives all your Ryu-ge monsters battle protection. And again, only level 10 or higher sea serpents can use this effect, or our Ryu-ge pendulum monster. Now, the cost for every one of these effects is putting a Ryu-ge continuous spell to the bottom of your deck. So hypothetically, say you have this one, and you had the sea serpent and your boss monster out. You can, and again, remember I told you that these give the effects to the monsters, so you can go, you have the green one and the blue one out, and then you have your sea serpent and your dragon out, right? So because the Ryu-ge pendulum monster, it can use both of these effects. So what you would want to do is say your opponent summons a monster, right? Or it doesn't matter, you're playing Labyrinth, they set a card, right? You can go, okay, his effect, I will use the effect that's been given to it by Sea Spires, but the cost is placing the worm winds at the bottom of the deck, right? Cool. Later that turn, you can use that same effect, but then you can just put the actual Sea Spires to the bottom of the deck. The cost of it is to put any of the Ryu-ge continuous spells to the bottom of your deck, but you don't have to put themselves, the effect you're activating, to the bottom of the deck. Hopefully that's self-explanatory. That's a compulse, and it's a quick effect, so it doesn't have to be during the main phase. If you're going against a back row deck, wait till end phase and compulse something pretty cute. It's just a compulse still, not really that. It's solid. It's solid. Can't really hate on it. This makes your opponent, it just zeroes out an opponent's attack. That's it. Again, during your opponent's turn only. Stupid. And then it gives like a Shen effect where during your opponent's turn, any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead during your opponent's turn only. It's all right. Like it's not, it's just Chana buns. The third effect on the third of the domains, this effect is I think the compulse is better than the negate, because this is a weird negate. So this is cool because it gives all your Ryu-ge monsters plus 300 attack, which further enables its own ability. Now, if a monster on the field activates its effect, you can negate that effect again by placing one of these at the bottom of the deck, right? And because if a monster effect has to say for example your opponent activates Stratos, right? And you have this bad boy and this bad boy on the field, right? Activate the effect because Stratos has less than 3,300 attack. Cool, no problem. But say your opponent activates Chaos Angel, right? Chaos Angel's 35, I think, right? So this guy's on. You cannot negate Chaos Angel's effect with this guy because he'll only be 33 on resolution of when Chaos Angel would activate. But this guy would be 38 because he's 35 and he gets 300 from this. So then you could negate Chaos Angel. Will it be affected? It's not my business. We're just talking about examples here. Okay. And we have the Eroda. So here's the thing. There's two cards that have 2 effects here, right? You only can use the trap card and the quick effect. You only can use their 1 effect per turn and only once that turn. This one right here is a quick play Rhoda. It's like a wanted essentially. The second effect of it is just so here's a cool thing. So it searches any Ryu-ge monster, but then you can as well put a Ryu-ge pendulum monster from your hand to the face up extra deck. That's important for another reason coming up soon. The second effect is you can banish this card and another Ryu-ge monster that is in your graveyard. Summon another one that's the same type from your deck to the field. Never use that effect. It's so terrible. It's just bad. It's just really bad. But you also have to control a Ryu-ge pendulum card, meaning this card either has to be it doesn't have to be as a monster. It just has to be a monster card. A monster card, right? It says You control Ryu-ge Pendulum monster card. Yeah. So your opponent can Flamberge this, put it in your spell and trap zone, and you can still activate the second effect, which I thought was pretty cool. But again, if you have to use that effect, hey, it's niche. You can use it when you use it. The trap summons one from your deck, from your hand, deck, or graveyard, but compulses it during the end phase. The second effect is you can banish it and then place any of your continuous traps at the bottom of your deck that are in your graveyard or banishment to draw a card. Again, I wish you can use both effects in one turn, but it's whatever. Now, let's go over our. I went over the. Let's go over our Ryu-ge monster itself. The way he works is his pendulum effect is you can search for a Ryu-ge's card and then destroy this card, meaning it goes face up in your extra deck. The second effect, which is it does two things, but it's one effect. It's continuous. It's like it applies one after the other. If a monster on the field is destroyed by, it doesn't have to be on the field. It has to be on the field. If a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy a Ryu-ge monster you control and special summon this card. Here's the thing, because it's coming from the extra deck, it has to go to the extra monster zone or a zone a link monster points to. Keep that in mind. So and then when after and then this card, this is also treated as a ritual summon because it's a ritual monster, but there's no ritual spell, and it can only be summoned this way by its own effect. Weird, I know. If and if you do special summon this card, right, it's treated as a ritual summon, and if you do, destroy up to 2 cards you control, and if you do mean that they're successfully destroyed, place up to that many Ryu-ge continuous spells from your deck face up to your field. Cool. It tutors out the ones that you would need if you if you don't have it already. Pretty cool. But now let's go over Warzone. I think the what made my brain start working with this deck. Now, when you activate it, you grab three cards: a worm, a dinosaur, and a sea serpent. Right? It doesn't have to be an archetype. You just grab 3 cards. Right? You banish one, add one, and send one to the graveyard. So first of all, banishing and adding one. Banishing one already gets this card one step closer to its activation. Sending one to the graveyard already gets this card one step closer to its activation. And again, this right here, like you just have to destroy a card. That's not what we're talking about right now. But I'm gonna tell you why you don't really need to do those. Like, hey, that's too much. I have to already have these guys, one banished, one in the graveyard. I have to open it, and they're kind of bricks in my hand. I get you. We're gonna talk about the second effect now. If you have oh yeah, so you're also locked into dinosaurs, sea serpents, and worms, and dragons, dinosaur, sea serpent, and worms. Because big boy's a dragon here. Sorry to mention that. Sorry not to forget to mention that. Now the second effect is busted. Let's read this. If you have bad boy right here, I'm not saying that name. That name is crazy. Let's go for it. Let's try for it. If you have a, where's the text at? Can I get the text? Thank you. If you have a Sosei Ryu-ge Misva in your extra deck face up, you can special summon 3 Ryu-ge monsters with different types. One each from your deck, graveyard, and banishment. Right? So hypothetically, you would activate this, place it in you place this in your pendulum zone, activate the effect, search for this. This will activate, get one of each, right? You will banish one, put one in the graveyard, then you will activate his. You will keep this one in your hand, and then you will activate the effect to put it into your deck to search this one, right? Search your domains, and then because now you have this face up in your extra deck, and you have one in your graveyard, one in your banished, and one still in your deck, you can activate the field spell again to summon all 3 of them. Solid. Again, it's like that's cool. You're getting 3 bodies out, but you're still locked into those. You're still locked in. Here's the thing: Verrugus is a worm. That's a free overlay for Verrugus. Now, with that being said, I looked and played with a bunch of other stuff with this deck, and oh my god, I tried regular dinosaurs, and I'm like, the Transcendosaur stuff just works way better. Like yeah, it makes the Ryu-ge deck better and faster and more explosive, but it worsens the dinosaur deck. And if regular dinosaurs is way better than Ryu-ge dinosaurs, I'd rather just be playing regular dinosaurs, just being honest here. Same thing with Sword Soul and Tenyi. Even with the new Tenyi support, it's just better off with Sword Soul. Like, well, now you call Yassine made a comment. He was like, now it's well, he read a comment. I think it was whatever. He was like, now it's called Tenyi Sword Soul because there are more Tenyi in it now. But yeah, like you're making a Ryu-ge deck better, but it's a worse Sword Soul Tenyi deck, and you're better off just playing regular Tenyi Sword Soul. The thing is, you don't need your normal summon in this deck. So I played the adventure engine with this deck first. So I'll do my adventure plays first. So I do my venture plays first, right? That means I got a Griffin Rider, right? I got a token. I have Verugus after, but I'm like, that's just two. That's just two Omni negates, and is that really that strong? To be honest, no, not really. Oh, two Omni negates plus like one like either a compulse, on field negate. I'm like, let's be real. A lot of decks nowadays will play through that. I need something more, and I want something lower to the ground that can well, not even. It doesn't have to be lower to the ground. It just has to be consistent. So I tested things out and I was looking at the new Jurat cards and I was like, oh, you can play Dingaling with it because it's a one. You can play things like Overraptor. You can play things like Miscellaneous Saurus. And honestly, I was like, the Yang Zings don't work with it. It's bad because a lot of times when you destroy cards, it's not the last thing you do. Yang Zings have to be the last. The last thing to happen on that chain would be the Yang Zing being destroyed. And with this guy, their boss monster, he destroys and then places continuous spells. Bad. So the last thing to happen would be the continuous spells being placed. And to use this effect right here to pop cards, right? To pop cards, like you have to sacrifice this, and it's like when it's a solid negate. It stops so much. Black Witch, Flamber, it just stops a lot. So you don't want to get rid of this to trigger this guy, then to destroy another card to get this back out. It's just too much. You're doing too much. And I was like, people were playing the True King package, like the Thaussagem, to play it to pop two cards to trigger this guy. But I'm like, that's another one of that you can't search. You'd have to search it with your field spell, and that's cool and all. But then you have to have an Earth card in your hand. Means you have to keep this in your hand. This is an archetype Earth monster, and I'm like, this is kind of bad. And like if you're not adding, if it's just too neg. Honestly, like it's not worth it. I think El Dorado del Duelista, El Exordio, that's his name. Sorry, I think he did something like that, and I thought it was cool. But like, I don't like building decks where I need to see one card in order to play. For example, a deck that can utilize Revolution Synchron. If I don't open Revolution Synchron, that whole line is dead. I don't like that. So that's why I was like, you know what, I can't really bang with that. I tried like Nemesis package. I tried a lot of stuff with this deck, and so far what I've seen that had a lot of success was Voiceless. Like I've played it with I've seen plays with Voiceless, and it's pretty solid. I haven't looked too much with it, but honestly, I don't know how. Like I think it's better than the Branded Fusion package, and I think it's solid. I think it works well. Also, there's a cool engine, a cool small engine I was playing, where you get the field spell, and you search two of these guys. Like you search Water, Wind, and then search your third one can be out of archetype. You search Misk, and because you have one banished, one engraved, and this still in deck, you summon all three. Misk, discard, it's a banish. You discard it, then you banish it. Search Animadorn Archosaur. You special summon Animadorn Archosaur. Archosaur pop the other dinosaur to get Fossil Dick, right? And then because a card was destroyed, then you use this guy in your face-up extra deck, right? Use him to pop this guy right here, right? Or any other one. You pop it to summon himself, right? And then you use his own effect to pop your Animadorn Archosaur to place a continuous spell, right? Now, because you use his effect to summon him by popping a non-dinosaur, then you popped Animadorn Archosaur, and you have Fossil Dig in your hand, you can now summon UCT or my personal pick, Overtech Quadralus. The reason why I like the Denglong play, because you're searching 9 pillars, but what I ended up falling on that seemed to work really, really well was Dinomorphia, because you can just search Theresia, and because you're playing Dinomorphia, you have a bunch of traps that you're probably going to open anyway. I'm going to show you my actual list or something very close to it. This is what I've been playing. So here's the cool thing. You can play Fossil Dig by cutting one of these out, because you don't need 3 of these, to be honest. Once you get your first search and get him in rotation, you don't really need 3. That's why I'm playing 2. And there's a lot of like popping and stuff like that going on in this game, and like Ogre and stuff. So honestly, what you can do is search and then place him in your extra deck face up, so you don't even have to use his search effect to get the what's the name? If you might already have the field spell in your hand. So I'm gonna show you guys the 1 card combo, and then I'm gonna show you guys the 1 card combo with Theresia. Let's put my hand test settings up there. Let's do 1 first. This is probably gonna be real sloppy. And I'll also add some replays here. I went against a lot of stuff before. Oh no, I had the wrong card. Buns. I'm so buns. There we go. Let's do it right here. So, boom. Start with this guy. Again, this can also be the quick play spell first as well. The quick play spell will just search him. So we're just cutting something. Just getting rid of the middleman. Search. You really don't need 3 of these either because like once you get it off the first time, you're solid, you're set. But you can also keep it on field. It doesn't do anything after. So we'll search Misk first, right? That's our dinosaur. This is our worm. This is our sea serpent. We'll add the dinosaur to our hand. You will banish the worm. It doesn't matter like if you're going first, your opponent isn't doing anything. But the reason why I like to put this banish, because remember the way to summon it is by another card being banished face up while it's already banished face up. So if your opponent went first and they have cards to play, right, they'll be inadvertently triggering this guy right here to summon. And same thing here, like your opponent they add something, so that's a card being sent from their hand to the graveyard. That's one card. Then you activate this, boom. That's the second card. Now you can summon the sea serpent. It's pretty cool. Now, so peep this. We have one in our extra deck face up. We have one banished. We have one engraved under our Misk, and we still have one in our deck. Go. We'll summon a 3. 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't have to search the archetype cards, but it will. But you have to special summon the archetype cards, right? Boom. That's 3, right? Pop this. Watch this. 1. Boom. Summon our Animadorn Archosaur. Funny enough, Animadorn Archosaur, Fossil Dig can also, Animadorn Archosaur can search a sea serpent, which is pretty cool. We'll pop our dinosaur. We'll search our double evolution pill. Oh wait, a card was destroyed by card effect. Here comes big boy, right? You want to get rid of a non-dinosaur. Summon, activate effect, pop. You need Animadorn Archosaur engraved. We'll get 1, 2. Now look, we left our sea serpent up, so we have a compulse. And we have a pendulum monster up there, so we have a negate, right? Now they're big as hell now. You can go boom. You can summon UCT here if you know what your opponent's playing. You can summon UCT here, but I like Overtech Quadless for my person because like again I'm playing Dinomorphia, so I need back row protection. That's why I like Overtech Quadless. And again, here's a crazy thing about Overtech. It doesn't have to destroy itself. It destroys a dinosaur. So Dinomorphia's trigger when they're destroyed. So you can end it here. This is a solid board, but here with one card, you would go boom, 2. Here you go. Now you have 2 Omni Negates and a pop. You have 2 Omni Negates and a destruction. Yeah, but now let's talk about if you have one extra card. That one extra card either being Theresia or Miss, because like if you already have Miss, you'll search Theresia, or you can even do it with Diplos, to be honest. But I don't like it with Diplos because it's sending rather than setting. Start with 2 here. This you can also play a Fossil Dig. I love Fossil Dig. If by cutting a card, I love Fossil Dig. Again, you have a lot of stuff you can cut. Let's start it from here. We're gonna leave this in hand until we get Misk in line, right? It's the same way, same combo. Again, if you have the quick play spell, you don't need to start with that. Again, you're just cutting out the middleman. We search field spell. Cool thing is this guy searches any card. Pretty dope. I can't wait to see what the second wave of support is like. Boom, you will get. So we want our Dinomorphia place to run through, right? So we get the Misk. Misk is kind of just free. We'll add the Misk to hand. And again, doesn't matter which one we have here, but I like to put them in the correct places in case my opponent is playing and they have things to do on my turn. I will activate Misk. Cool. Now Misk is in line. And then you summon. Boom. Now, think about it. Here you have so much. You can get another spell and trap negate. A Rexterm. A DPE, a Destiny Hero Fusion Enforcer. No, Destiny Punisher Enforcer. Why is it DPE? I don't know. I thought his name was Fusion Enforcer. I forgot. Phoenix Enforcer. Or you can get a Monster Negate, right? But like if you're playing with 5 cards, you're gonna draw one of these regardless. So you just get the one you don't have. In this case, I don't have this. I'm also gonna use this because in that list, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't play the Worm Haze, the green one. That's because Rexterm does that and it's better. So we'll summon 1 because we have 1 engraved, 1 in banish, and we got our boy face up here, right? Summon 1, 2, 3. 3 here, right? Boom. Now this is protected, so they can't imperm this either, right? Boom. Yeah, they can probably summon they can nib us here, but I'm not gonna hold you. That's what the back row's for. If they try to stop us here, this is like a more explosive play. We get rid of Theresia here, right? Search our double evolution pill. What's happening? Boom, we'll get rid of this so we can have it later. Boom. Now we'll destroy this guy. And we can keep the field spell, but honestly, let's get rid of it because we need to. Let's get these 2 out of our deck. We don't want to see them on the top deck. We don't need the field spell either. The field spell is just used to summon itself, summon these guys out again. Now, with that, we can go we will overlay, right? But we're gonna keep him here because he can use both of these. So we're gonna overlay the other two. Then we're gonna go overtech. We get rid of our Animadorn Archosaur because we don't need him anymore. And I like to banish the worm because now when my opponent's playing, right, the monster has to be banished if a monster is banished face up. Yeah. So I like to banish a worm because if my opponent banishes something or if I banish something during this next turn, he can trigger and summon himself out, which is pretty cool. And now look at this. We have a Rexstorm on the back line, protection for our Rexstorm, protection from our Rexstorm, a compulse, and a negate. So this is this is berserk. So we pass turn here, right? I have no opponent, so I can't even try to like put cards on the board. No, we're not gonna do anything yet. Try to go into battle phase. We'll go activate because there's no opponent. You summon, right? And no, we're not gonna do anything here. Summon. We dump our Diplos because we need that, and we dump a Diplos and a that. Summon. Boom. I don't like that it doesn't let me try to play on my own turn if I'm testing. Like I have to try to go change phases first. Nope. Boom. And we'll go summon Rexstorm. Send another one of these just so we can get them out of the deck. Boom. Now, so the reason why I didn't play Worm Haze is because Rexstorm is just ultimately better. Now, when I activate the effect, all my opponent's monsters go to 1,000 attack, and they can't even activate anything to respawn, which is crazy. They can't even respawn because anything on the field anyway to respawn, right? Now, okay, what if they try to Duster? Overtech Quadless. Oh, what if they try to Talents or Thrust us? Overtech can activate this effect to pop Kentrigina, right? Because it says, let's read it here. If this card, whatever, not to read that. You can destroy one dinosaur monster in your hand or face-up field, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy that card. Destroy Kentrigina. We already used her. Kentrigina will now go and summon she will now summon our Theresia. Theresia summon, set another card for next turn, right? Busted. Oh, my opponent changed to that. Guess what? Get out of here. Like your opponent can't even play because they can't play with their monsters because Rexstorm's on board. So before you were trying to keep this guy on board, right? And then now this is just so berserk. Your opponent tries to Dark Ruler or something along those lines. They can't. Well, I'm sorry, not Dark. They try to Droplets because like the only way to out Dark Ruler is by playing the Spell and Trap Negate, which is in my deck still, right? Now, like, and once you get Rexstorm out, your opponent can't even worry about these guys anymore. They have to stop him, or they can't play the game because now you're going to be at 1,000 life, right? And your opponent cannot activate monster effects who are 1,000 or higher attack, right? Busted. And now for Snake Eye, if they have if they have the field spell out, all their level 1 fires are dead. Let's be honest. That's 1,100 or they get in 1,100. They can't do anything anymore, right? So now you have, and then even if they can try to continue playing, right? Hey, I'm gonna activate this, compulse, send this back. They're still playing, activate this, negate something on the field. Oh, I have spell and trap negate. Oh, I have Rouge's negate, and I'm gonna pop something as well. Have a wonderful day. Like the deck is honestly nasty. Then it also gives you follow up in this, like, and they also gives you follow up because Overtech. It's such a cool concept, such a cool idea. Let's save this one replay so I can actually replay it back. Now we're gonna like now something I forgot to go over is Protos, and yeah, Protos, and here's the card. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Monster effect level 10, Sea Serpent. I think it's a Dark Sea Serpent. The sad thing is I gotta scroll all the way down here. Where is it at? Oh, it's not even in here. Oh, is it? There it is. This guy. He's all right. It's a level 10. It's a Sea Serpent. It works for Varudris, but let's go over the effect. Oh, and Protos. Go over Protos. Protos you can search because it's a worm. The crazy thing about Protos is you can summon Protos off rip. You can do your Animadorn line, right? The same way I did it before without, I'm talking about without the Theresia. Do your Animadorn line, summon your dragon, pop 2 cards, just pop. So Animadorn's a light, correct? He's a light. You'll be popping a wind, if I can find it. You'll be popping a wind, and you have to pop a card, like you call it, to summon it. So that's the earth. You'll pop this. Oh, and you'll pop this as well, right? To what's the name for your for your Animadorn. Animadorn has to pop a card itself, which will be this guy, your dinosaur. That's now you have an Earth Engrave. That will trigger your Misva, right? Your Arceus, which will summon itself by popping a Wind. Or I like to say the Wind because this guy he wants to stay in a graveyard. This right here doesn't care if it's banished. It likes to be banished, honestly. So you'll pop the Wind, right? So you have a Earth and a Wind in graveyard, and when you summon Misva, you will pop your Archosaur. So you have an Earth, a Wind, and a Light in your graveyard. You can then summon Protos that you search out the field spell, right? Or any other which way you want, because like again, you can play Fossil Dig. I just don't know why I don't have it in that list. So it's pretty solid. You can play you can just search Protos. Nothing doesn't bother you. Let's go over this card real quick and why I don't play it myself. Because it comes in Supreme Darkness, which comes after Crossover Breakers. If you have 3 or more level 10 monsters on your field, graveyard, and banishment, you can special summon this card from your hand. Let's go over how stupid that is. Say hypothetically, you just did your first step of your combo where you got this out and use this effect, right? One will be banished, one will be in your one will be banished, and one will be in your graveyard. The other one's in your face-up extra deck. This card cannot be used yet. But that also means when you go the next step to summon it, right? You can't even go into Virugus just yet to protect your board because that'll be your 4th summon, your 5th summon. So you need another card to protect your board, right? But you want you need Virugus, but he needs to see 3 bodies. Field, graveyard, banished. And like you'd have to summon this guy already, which will be your 5th summon if you're going to try to set up for him. So that's why I don't like it off rip. Hopefully it has more application, like, later down the line with more testing. If this card is special summon, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This card gains 500 attack. Then if the sent card was a monster, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Otherwise, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So it's like a double mill. This turns on Water Girl right here, which is pretty solid. But normally, I would be like, hey, but I don't want my spells and traps in the I don't want my spells and traps in the graveyard, like your continuous spells. But like this right here can recur your continuous spells, but you have to play Wormwinds, and Wormwinds is bad. I don't like Wormwinds. It's just to make your opponent attack 0, and then you have to have this on the field, and it has to be spells. You have to do this on your turn to recur something that you milled. The only thing you really want to mill with this is the continuous and the trap. Like, I guess you can play something like, if you're playing like a mill variant, like it's not even worth it to invest that high into it, to be honest. Like, to be completely honest, it's just another level 10 body. I guess it's an extender that you can use. It's all right. And again, you're better off just going into Protos. And the one thing I will say that's cool about this deck is, like, again, I've tried it with a lot of stuff. I tried it with a bunch of different archetypes that they just make it worse. Like, they make this deck better, but they make the what do you call it? The old archetypes worse. Like, if we go to excuse me, where's the dinosaur? We have dinosaurs. We got level 10s. UCT, you can summon UCT instead of Overtech Quadlist. But if you do that, that's actually more synergistic because now UCT can work with the Dino domains, which is pretty solid. The Dirac stuff, I have not tested it with the Dirac stuff. To be honest, I'll take a look at them. I have to reread the cards, but it's level 10 or higher, so you can do a level. Nope, no level 11s, level 12s. Oh, you have this guy, Transcendosaurus. What does this one do? Oh, what does this one do? Let's read this guy. Can I read this? Thank you. Can I be noticed? Sometimes must be special by effect during by its card effect. Opponent's turn, you can destroy 2 other dinosaur monsters in your hand or in our field, and if you do special summon this card from your hand, this card is special summon, you can send 1 down someone from your deck to the graveyard. Oh, that's pretty solid, not that bad. But honestly, that turns on the Dino domains itself. Let's get into some replays. I'll probably attach some replays to this and edit a lot of things out. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll hopefully do some Lithium commentary over the replays. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you on the flip.
All right, hey guys, Useful is back. All right, let's get into it. So this first replay is just me going ham, going combo, and I was kind of upset recently. I'm gonna let this combo play out. You guys seen it in the previous clip, in the previous video, with me explaining the deck. I just happened to open Called By, and the thing is, at the end of this, I didn't even use all of my interaction. I still had more, and that's like the best thing about playing decks where you're playing with the least amount of cards as possible. So all those extra cards do extra things. But one thing I did want to say, like when I was looking through my replays, my Rezio matchups, I didn't feel good posting them because, like, to be honest, I'm only winning if I go first. And I feel like if I have to go first, then like I feel like a stun player where I complain, but if I go first and I draw nutty, then I win. But so I was like, yeah, let me keep those out of here. My Malice replays are kind of silly because I get like they scoop really fast. Like my Malice replays, they've been scooping extremely fast, mainly because I guess it's one of those decks where you know if you're gonna be able to beat 3 negates and a compulse fat first and a Rexnerm, or you just can't compete with it. Like once they know what's coming, they're like, I don't want to waste your time, I'm just gonna scoop. And the game too is like, I play evenlies, I play nibs, I play a lot of stuff. And I noticed like this trend in Malice players no longer playing shifter anymore. And it's like, and I thought that was pretty, I think that's such a cool thing now. Like I thought they were going to default to shifter, but I don't really see that anymore. But in this deck right here, honestly, you see like I'm just going through so much with just one card. And I'm trying to keep as many cards in my hand as possible just to show my opponent, yo, I'm about it. I'm about it. And I love when my opponent tries to interact with me, mainly because I don't like my opponent not using anything against me, then opening their hand with going their first turn with 6 cards. Mainly because like that's 6 cards I have to compete with, and even if none of them actually break my board, it's just the nerves and the anxiety I get when I have to face 6 cards. I rather you interrupt me and I still keep playing on my turn, and that's less cards I have to interact with on your turn. That's the main reason why I still play the Ash and stuff like that. I can't play Impulse, I can't play Purge because I play Wind, Light, Dark, Earth, Water. Like come on, and I play Fire too. I literally play every attribute, so I can't even play Impulse. So I can't play Impulse, so I'm gonna have to I can't play Purge either. So I'm like, you know what, I have to play these guys. I do play Talents and Thrust. The Thrust mainly because you have your Dinomorphia cards. I think in the final deck list, I'm gonna cut out 2 of the traps. I'm gonna cut out the DPE effect trap, and I think I'm gonna I do play the Volzars in here, which is pretty cool, cause like after anything after turn 2. If you're not dead on turn 2, and I still have, because like I can I don't want to say infinitely, but like putting out 9k damage immediately is kind of disgusting. Plus having a continuous spell that gives you 300 attack, so it's like, so after that, like you're just gonna have a lot of cards on your board, and you're gonna have a lot of things to do. So you can either keep using Varudris, or you can go into Evolzar, Solda and Lagia. You get me? And I also play a Daigusto. I played Daigusto Emerald. Like I really only used it one time because I was going against Stun. And they're honestly, after you pop their stuff and they keep popping your stuff, negating your summons and stuff like that. A lot, like, that's what the Daigusto Emerald is for. I don't think it's going to be in my final list. I don't have to use things like I don't know about big unaffected cards, because I can get over something like a Chaos Angel, but I really do think I do have to think about solutions for things like that, because at Ignister, I think people are talking about they've been playing, like, they've been doing some crazy stuff with Ignister recently, and honestly I'll just have to see what they're talking about. This is that match right there. You just see where it's just another match where like he's like, okay, he put 9k on board, I'm not getting through that. He had to sacrifice his whole board to get through mine. Now my full, like, my meta matchups where I'm going against Snake Eye, Fire King, Azumina, it's like I don't get it. I guess because like they'll be like, why can't I activate this effect? Bro, Rexterm's on board. Oh wow, that's crazy. And like once you put Rexterm up before their Azumina stuff, like they can do their Fiendsmith plays, but their Fiendsmith does nothing. And it's one of those things where I guess, like, the better players who are playing better decks and, like, they know what they're doing, they also know, like, when to scoop. And I don't think they were very entertaining. That's why, like, a lot of my replays have been cut short and, like, or not in here. Mainly, like, I had to go through my replays and just delete a lot of them because, like, I can't use this in a video. But, yeah, like, I'm playing against Snake Eyes and Mina. Like, you go first and you just put out Rexterm, and they're like, I just can't play. Or they try to do OSS and they summon Diabellstar. You negate Diabellstar's face effect on the field by putting back one of your continuous spells, and then they try to summon Snake Eye Ash, and then you negate the effect, and they're like, well, what am I supposed to do here? That's just one part. Oh, what about their Fiendsmith lines? They like by that time I have Rexterm out. And it's like, oh, this kind of sad. Like, you just negate something, and then, oh, what about they'll start off with their Azumina fusion plays. Yeah, that's what Quadless is for. Like, even then, you put out Rexterm before that, and they're like, I'm not negating anything. This is so stupid. My Diabellstar can't even get into those plays anymore. Like, if they open with the Diabellstar first, right? Okay, cool, you will negate it with your Pendulum monster. and then on resolution, boom, 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 you're just summoning mad bodies, and then like now you have a Kenshijina that's going to send back that's going to summon a Theresia, and they can't even like Lightning Storm or Geki or anything like they talents. You're just gonna negate it. Like it honestly doesn't matter. Like so, and like again, it changes the entire priority of the deck. Where in the beginning they're like, I have to get rid of this negate and this compulse card that's on the board. I have to also get rid of this Varudris and this Overtech. I can bait out a negate with this Overtech Quadralist, right? All I gotta do is keep comboing off, and then eventually they'll use it. Same thing with the Varudris, right? But as soon as you put that Rexstorm on the board, they can't even they can't even try to bait anything out, because like you don't have to use Verugis on the monsters anymore. Now you're using Verugis on the other spells and traps, and you also have to ask them, are those spells and traps even doing anything to my end board? So boom, they will go and they're trying to play, and they're like, dang. And now if I have droplets, I have to hit the Rexstorm. And in those matchups, like a lot of times, like especially even game 3, when I know my opponent is playing things like talents and stuff, I'm most definitely setting the Dinomorphia spell and trap negate. But that's the end of the replay. I hope you guys like it.